Yes, we'll see. Okay. As a preliminary matter, this is Rob Benchley, Chair of the Sconset Advisory Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipating the agenda are present and can hear me. When I call your name, please answer. Caroline Ellis.
Yes.
Okay. Clement Durkis.
Yes.
Rob Benchley is here. Still waiting for Mary Lathrop and Angus, and but I'll continue. Good morning. This open meeting of the Sconset Advisory Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate transmission of the virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. As such, Governor's order suspends the requirements of the open meeting law to have all meetings in publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted for the agenda materials of this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so the public can follow along in the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Sconset Advisory Board is convening by video conference via the Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of the body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. Public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Now we're turning to the first item of the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I'll introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members inviting each name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair. After all members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged and speak to the chair. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. All right. I'll take a motion. I make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor? Caroline Ellis.
Yes.
Angus McLeod.
Yes.
Clement.
Yes.
Motion made, seconded, and approved. Let's see. I see that Joe Topham is here. Can I ask that we take that first so he can continue his day?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. That would be Burlingham Trust and Codfish Park, 15 Beach Street, with revisions.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Hi, Joe.
Hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So these last round of revisions are based on comments from the HCC board. I lowered the overall height, almost 1'3". Reduced the size of the windows because as the vertical height is coming down, the window proportions had to be changed. So that was all the A windows were made slightly smaller. I lowered the second floor plate or first floor plate by 3 inches. I changed all the first floor door heights from 7 foot down to 6'8". Made the sliding barn door narrower because of as the height came down, it looked really fat and boxy. So all that changed. The other thing that we did is we went from a conventional first floor framing down to mud sill detail and removed all the shutters. The HCC thought it was a little fussy, so they wanted it simplified. As you can see, we've, from the dash line of what the original height was, and now I would say the ridge height of this cottage matches, I think it's 8 houses in Codfish Village. So that's where we're at. Thank you.
Rob, can't hear you on mute.
Hi, sorry. Joe, this is Rob. Are you, I noticed there's the lot at the north end of, north side of Codfish has been cleared and kind of brush cut right up on the bank too. Is that in any way connected with the move/demo of the existing house?
That was option number 3 location. And whatever the new business deadline was at 12 o'clock, the last deadline, at 11:30, I got a text message saying that they did not want to take the 15 Beach Street cottage and move it down to the other side, North Gully.
All right, so that's not a part of this formula anymore, as far as you know?
No, and as I said before, that's location number 3 in Codfish Park.
Yeah.
Deal that fell through, and then the bridge, and then the trees, etc. So yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, it just that I'd noticed a lot of work on adjacent to North Gully Road, and I was just wondering if that was connected to it. So, okay, that's a whole nother thing. Thank you.
Connected.
I'll call on anybody if they'd like to comment. It certainly is a lot less than it was.
Joe, thank you for coming today. Am I reading this correctly that the house from the original proposal is down 3'2"?
Actually, from the initial application, I'm down
Yes.
4 feet overall. So I started at 27 and I'm at 23.6. So wow, a little bit more. Sorry.
I appreciate the drop in the scale and the various revisions that have been made over the different iterations of this. In general, I still feel that it's imposingly high, especially with that south gable, and being so close to the street. It doesn't look like there's any setback on that. You're taking advantage of the 0 setback, except for like the safety foot in the front. I'm just thinking about the house that's there. Feels like it's on the street, and this is even 4 feet or so closer than that to Beach Street. And just besides that concern is just still the overall scale and height of it in that location and its busyness. I love the origins of the the inspiration of being a barn. It's just that there's gable and deck and porch and dormers and rolling doors and then doors behind those doors. And there's just a lot that feels very unbarn-like, but it's not, because of the barn doors being right on the street. It's not really reading like a house either. So I feel like there are conflicted themes going on here. I do appreciate you providing a building section in this, because I can see what is going on with the eaves and the overall height and the height floor to ceiling on the first floor. And it looks like there's still, without changing roof angles, pitch, etc., you could probably still have a foot lower in the first floor, having a 7'6" ceiling, and the second floor being able to drop the plate another foot. I don't see making a significant difference. So I still see there being a couple of feet without any significant change in the building to lower that a bit more. But like I say, it feels imposing being that height and that close to the street. And I'd like to see it set back further away from the street.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
Yeah. Holly, can you just go to the site plan, please? So yeah, just to see that line where you see 50.6 feet, that is their lot line. But you have to remember there is 9 feet from the edge of their property that they don't own. That's all green space. That their existing privet is what that's shown there. They don't own that land, so there's not quite the buffer. And the neighbor at Bank Street who wrote a letter was thinking the same thing, but once he realized there's that green space, so it's not that it's asphalt and then 1 foot of separation and then this vertical mass, that it's going to be off the street back more than you think it would be. So that's the one thing I just wanted to point out. Thank you.
I understand, and thank goodness there's that much separation.
Yeah, and I honestly,
my concerns are still the same.
Yeah, and so the other part of it is you can see that at the top of the page, you can see the green rectangle and the green circle. That's their existing septic. So that's the other, as much as we would like to push it back as far as possible, that's the other driving factor keeping it going forward. So it's a yin and yang kind of, you've done this, Angus, you know what I'm fighting with. So
For sure.
Thank you.
I guess I just don't usually try to fill the lot this much. There's already what was the main house, and then another house that's a similar footprint taking its place. So I guess I would either go smaller or move the existing house, or I guess I would just go smaller to give a little bit more room and scale there.
Well, just so you know, we can go up to 1,200 square feet, and we did, the 20% rule, and we're still under our ground coverage. So we went with the smaller, we went to the 800. So that was where we didn't want to do the same thing. So we just said, let's go to the smaller size. And that's the scary part about that, and that small lot, of how much they could potentially max it out. And they were like, we don't want to do that. So, we're playing a balance, and we're under even the 20% rule. So, but we
Yeah, I
totally
can't
hear your
imagine
comments,
if it had gone to the
we're in agreement.
20% more, because it feels like the similar scale as the house.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Rob. I agree with what Angus said. And I'm just going to click here for a sec. Clement or Caroline, any thoughts if you would like?
I don't think I can add to anything that Angus has said,
Okay.
but I agree.
No, I think I also, Rob, approve of what Angus's comments. The lower the better. the smaller the better. Unfortunately, it still remains that the existing house will be demolished, but I know they've tried.
Yeah. All right. Holly, do you have enough to report to our larger board?
Yes, sir, I do. I just thought of something, but I think it just went away, so I guess that's good. No, overall, Joe, I appreciate, the lowering it. I think those are concerns, I think both Sconset Advisory and HSAB, HDC have both, have asked to lower it down. One thing, maybe just as a future thing, and I say if the HDC asks for minor revisions, or they don't get to it tonight, I'm wondering if, although the 80% rule that you're talking about is more from a zoning perspective for the secondary dwelling application, I'm wondering, and I assume maybe, and maybe I don't want to assume that that's already gone through the process with the planning board for the secondary dwelling. They did, right?
We have not done that.
You have
Well,
not
they
done-
already did because there's one there existing.
Okay. Well, you still would want to go before the planning board for that, just so you.
No,
so you-
I know I had to do that because
Okay.
we're also taking the Belgian block apron out of there
Yes,
and doing,
yes.
so there's a lot of things we have to clean up
Yes.
and get it to current Codfish Park standards.
Yes. On that note, I'm just wondering if having a site plan or even modifying on here of showing that kind of would understand the scale of what you could go to versus what you're actually going to. I think that also helps in understanding that your clients are not trying to max it out. That would just be a recommendation, understanding both sides of planning and HDC.
Yeah, as you all know, this is quite a confusing little lot with all the moving parts.
Yes.
So I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, but I can, maybe what I'll do is leave this plan and create a separate one to say this is what we could have done.
Yes, because they did
Okay.
receive their special permit, I think last year or the year before, for the second curb cut. I remember that process that
Yes.
Paul Santos helped them with. So.
Yes. Yeah. And so what the other part is, the neighbor to the north of them, the other part was she's looking where it says green space, that's their current parking. And so one of the things we said to them is that we want to keep that all open and green and so move the car to the other side. So she appreciated that. And that's where we've been working with all the neighbors and the butters. And and we've gotten 5 letters of positive responses.
Yes, and
one
actually,
was like the shutters too, and it's kind of funny. But anyways, it is all, thank you for your comments, everyone, and taking the time.
this is the comment that we received from the last abutter who, I guess he quite didn't understand what was going on, but with this email, he does. So thank you for having him send that in.
No, and I think when he bought his property, I think he thought he was looking down Beach Street. And so I went and took a photograph and then sent it to him. And so, he looks right at the Burlingham's house. So, I'm glad he bought that house and he's been able to live there.
All right. Great. Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, Joe.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
We going back to 28 Main?
Yes, let's go back to 28 Main. Got that up
Okay.
here somewhere. Oh, there it is.
And do I not? With me. All right, I'm gonna pull it up.
While you're looking for that, Holly, I've got the minutes up from the HDC's last meeting, comments on this. And I'll just blast them out if that's okay. Abby said this is a poor precedent to allow. It's the heart of Sconset. I'd like to hold this for clarification from zoning as to why the area wasn't included. This is egregious and detrimental to the heart of Sconset. It's too much hardscaping. We had a charrette Friday about hardscaping, and based upon that, she finds this inappropriate for this area. And it's also pools as impervious hardscaping. Diane Coombs said if we feel does not go along with a historic area, we do not have to permit it. She agrees that pools are inappropriate in the middle of Sconset Main Street. Val Oliver said the pool is incongruent with the surrounding area. And my computer will let me, here it is. Mr. McLaughlin, I'd like to hold this for staff to confirm the pools are allowed in the zoning in this area. And zoning is not our department. We can't address that, but this is allowed under zoning. But we are independent and can disagree with zoning. Okay, so they held for revisions, and I'm guessing what we're seeing are revisions, and I still see the pool. And if I can continue for just a sec, I know there's a new zoning amendment that's coming up for town meeting, and it expands the SOH district. It switches some of the R1 district to SOH. It's mostly north of the village. Still, Main Street is not, it's still, R10.
Yeah,
So this particular property is zoned SR10, which is a big, I would say, quite a few properties that are smack in the middle between what we call Sconset Old Historic and SR20. And then the SR1 is very similar to R1, which is required to be phased out in the master plan based on the 2009 master plan. So that's why over the years you see certain zoning for R1 and SR1s to be phased out. But this particular property in question is zone SR10, which allows pools.
Right.
Again, I think that's where, just because the zoning does say they're allowed doesn't necessarily mean the HDC could agree with that as far as an appropriateness perspective. However, I think the HDC would want to take in consideration that there have been other pools approved within their decision whether they want to approve it or not approve it. I did want to also notate that although it's not before you all or the HDC this week, you remember the old shed in the back that you all had a discussion on. You reviewed it for the proposed demo move. That was before the commission last week. And there was a concern on the age because the actual HDC survey from 1989 indicated it was quite old. Not sure if that means if it was in relationship to the barn that's down here, which was also old because this property was what we call a 4181L underneath the subdivision control law, where you have two or more structures on a lot that was that date back to prior to the enactment of the subdivision control law in 1955. So that means the structures have to be older than 1955, and the burden of proof is on the applicant, which is the surveyor, to provide that information. Long story short to say is it's not a part of this particular application before you, but it's a conversation, if you will, because the HDC wanted to make sure they knew exactly the age. I will say that the agent for that application is saying that it's being proposed to be moved off and not demolished. So that's better than being demolished. But before you is the revisions for the pool. I also wanted to let you know that this application you all saw it originally on November 2nd. And due to the long agendas that they have been having and the agent for the application, I guess forgot which meeting it was, whether it was a Monday or Tuesday, what have you. And my notes kind of got sidebarred somewhere. So I actually did publicly apologize to Sconset Advisory to let you know that I was deliberating your comments to them by memory. But I think I had it for the most part, that you all had said that fairly no issues as far as the pool. Their screening, rather see the equipment near the pavilion. You all had concerns about the noise for the abutters, especially off of Maury Lane. Where's the pool equipment? But overall, it was that lack of visibility. So it looks like these revisions are showing more photographs. And I don't want to assume, but maybe these individual locuses are lots that actually have pools, maybe.
There's a pool.
A number of them have pools. My guess is they all do, and that's why they're marked.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it helps to demonstrate how they're encroaching on the core of Sconset. And it's unfortunate that the one got through at the corner of Maury and Main. But it'd be awful to have that doubled.
Yeah, hi, it's Rob. If we have any influence on it,
Yes.
not appearing at all, that would be terrific, because it's practically a scourge, and I think it's an unnecessary one. I don't care what the real estate people say, if I may be so blunt. I hate us having to come up against that all the time when the trends are dictated by the market in a historic district. And it's sometimes it's a real bad mix, and I feel like this is one of those unfortunate mixes, it's not historic, and it's noisy, and it's more pressure on all the things around the village. I don't know if this is something that, I mean, the design is okay, sure, but I know I'm crossing the line, but if it's something that can be denied, then I'd be in favor of that.
Rob, this is Clement. I'd like to say, I mean, you look at that lot and they have covered so much ground space with hard surfaces. There's almost no grass left. They got the driveway, they got a little bit of the front yard, but they're using every square inch for decking and pool and everything else. I would like to somehow get the zoning changed so there could be no more pools in SR 10, or I think SOH is pretty safe, but I know there is a pool next door, but that is a much bigger lot. I mean, you just look at how much they're covering with pool and stone and driveway. It's amazing. So I think it's too much jammed in, but I know that's not a legal definition of anything. So.
Thank you, Clement. Yeah, if people can this is Rob, if people can set a precedent by having pools, maybe we can set the precedent by not having pools. Just because the neighbors have it. I mean, I just don't agree with the precedent argument in this as far as swimming pools go, because it's a snowball that's rolling downhill, and in 20 years, I mean, look at all, sorry, I'll shut up. But anyway, look at all the pools, the applications the HGC gets. I don't know how many thousand pools, and
This is Angus. I'd just like to echo Clement's observation about the hardscaping and the covering of the lot. It's been subdivided, so there will be development on the back side of the lot and on the front side. What felt very rural feels like it's getting developed in a way that's not as sensitive to the historic core as could be.
Thank you, Angus. Yeah. And if I might add, it also, in a similar sense, it takes away the landscape, if you will. I mean, it's the grounds. It obliterates the grounds, which are very much a part of the setting of the buildings that are on it. And this is a prime example of that. Thank you.
Well said, Rob.
So,
Caroline, I think you're muted.
The repairman came, I'm sorry. Right next to this property, I know to the left is the pool. That has been, I think, harmful to the neighborhood and has caused problems. But to the right of this, as we look at this, is that wonderful, it's just fields and trees. And having this sort of cityscape abut that seems tragic in a way.
yeah, thank you, Caroline. And
It was
and
just
especially,
barn.
go ahead.
No, it was just a barn and a little outbuilding. And look at it was all green.
And especially on Main Street,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
I just, no. If we could say no, I would absolutely say no.
Anybody else?
Holly, can I ask you a question, or through Rob, I guess?
Please do.
Can we track the number of pools? Is there a way to do that? Or do we have to do that at a different time?
I think there is a mechanism to do that, or it has been done. We do have a yearly calculation, actually monthly calculation of what type of applications come through, plus, but individually, HDC, building and all that. And that process will be a little bit easier with the software program that we've been working on diligently, and we'll be going live with a customer portal soon. So yes, and the short answer is yes. There are ways.
It might be helpful to Sconset to have numbers.
That is.
And
noted.
Holly, again, Rob mentioned that there was a warrant about redoing zoning. Is that coming up soon, or is there a way to, I guess I just go on the website and can find it, or
Yes, planning board.
planning board website?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not as privy as what's before them right now, just because I'm been out of that realm. However, I do know that they are reviewing planning board sponsored warrant articles to consider for town meeting. And again,
Okay.
those are typically are that are prioritized through the master plan. So if it's something that the master plan called out, like removing the R1s and SR1s,
Right.
the RC2s, all those type of zoning classifications, then that would be something that the planning board would support. This is the time that they're starting to review those. So you could always look up their agendas. They meet once a month. Sometimes during this time of year, they start meeting more than that. So they would be the ones that you would want to follow, especially anything in Sconset.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, it's Rob here. Hey, Holly, can you put me up on the screen for a sec?
Yep.
This is a letter that some of the abutters to the new zoning changes got. This one in particular is about Pittman Road. And this article has not been numbered yet.
Right.
but they've got the GIS map out and for the 2021 annual town meeting. So it hasn't been numbered yet, but the planning board has it.
Right. They wouldn't, just to give you a little background on that, they won't give proposed warrant articles numbers for the warrant until it's formally adopted by the Board of Selectmen or Select
Gotcha.
Board.
Okay,
So that's the last thing that gets done. But this is the time that things get flushed through the review process, if you will.
yeah, and they have public hearings about the warrant
yeah.
article, everything, yeah, so,
So
Yep.
this
And-
is Caroline. Is it a citizens change then? Or is it a?
no, I think it's planning board. They've been working on this kind of stuff for a long time, and I know
Any-
the trust is aware of it as well, so
Yeah.
I'm happy that we're sort of aware this is going on because it's part of what we do.
Absolutely. Yep, this
More
is the
and
busy
more.
time before town
Yeah.
meeting. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So basically that pool, not appropriate. Got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then this application, I had to look it up. It's been a while. It's been quite a while. 7 Beach Street Shed. This first went before you all in HDC back in February.
Who
Yeah.
remembers then?
Well,
I
that's
remember
why I
the
had, I had to look it up.
I remember the
So-
drawings. It was a cute, they were drawn on a spiral notebook pad. It was terrific.
So there is a note on the agenda, if you look at, that says no changes were made since the application was seen by the board earlier this year. So I'm that's why it's under old business. It looks like you all saw it in February 24th. I gave comments February 25th. And then March 5th, and then you all saw it March 9th. And then for one reason or another, I don't know why it didn't go before the commission, but you all said for shingle to match, and at a minimum of a 4-foot pitch. So there's a location right off of Codfish Park, hand drawn, which is fine.
Yep.
So it's got this angle to it. And I think the
I
main,
don't have any concerns.
okay, thank you. I think the main concern was the location of where they're putting it. Somewhere in here. Two examples of similar lean-tos.
I would hope they would put it where it's most useful for them.
Right. Let's see, where's my? So these are my hand scratches, but applicant came in and revised the app plans based on your comments and staff's comments, roof pitch to 3 and trim a roof to match dwelling. Roof is dual gray to match dwelling. Dual gray is not on the OHD approvable list, but then the commission could make the call on that. Obviously, we want to have the sheds to match the main dwelling.
Ideally, these are sited in the back, but when you're on a corner, what's the back? And I can't really tell if that tree beyond the driveway in that second photo down is in that farthest back corner, I guess the northwest corner in the middle of the lot there. I think would be probably the most discreet location for this, but if there's a tree there, that's not really an option.
I think there's a eating area there. I think
Yep,
there's a
right here.
patio there.
Yep, patio's right here.
Yeah. But I don't know how, oh, there you can see it.
I think that
Oh, there.
there was a conversation of having it over here and not in the visibility of
That would be.
the
pretty-
road or the driveway.
Well, but also, this is Clement, the little house behind is gone native and it might be blocking whatever sunlight they get if it's tucked in that corner.
This corner right here.
Yeah, you see the little
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
window there is gone native.
Oh,
So you'd be more in favor of having it right up at the head of the driveway?
and you
I'm
put it-
sure the other neighbors would not be in favor of that, but, it'd be nice to have it blocked by the house, but there might not be enough room. Yeah, I mean, it's a tiny little shed. As I seem to recall, it was a husband and wife who came in and the high school was building the shed for them. So
Yes, yes.
I don't know if there's any way to hide it behind the house, but then of course, as Angus says, it's on the corner. So you'd walk around the corner and see it on the other side. It's just so tight down there. Even a little shed seems to would make a difference.
Any other comments? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Is that I guess that's the end of our regular items here. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. Just for everybody else's benefit, 22 Canterbury Lane is being withdrawn and will be resubmitted in December. So that's why it's not being heard.
Okay, great.
So I have not touched base with Kathy to see if 19 Broadway has requested an inspection. So I've not had a chance to do that.
I took some pictures and I've been trying to figure out how to get them up here. But
Oh, perfect.
I will get that done at some point, but they've done some pretty remarkable things hiding those chases, the pipes and everything. I've got it on my iPhone, but I just don't know how to get it on this screen. But anyway, so we'll see when they come in to get the inspection. I
Rob,
think
would you be willing to send those to me when you get a
Sure.
chance?
I'd be
Thank
happy to. Yep.
Thank you very much. Those would be helpful.
I can send you the before and after. All right, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Clement, you're muted.
Yep. Just wondering about 8 Beach, which I think I can't, that's that tiny little shotgun house that they continue to want to demolish and everybody continues
Right.
to say no. So,
So after multiple rounds, you're talking about the one that Emeritus was doing for a proposed
Yeah.
first. Okay. So that was a partial demo with a new dwelling pretty much on the back. They did approve it after I don't know how many rounds of back and forth reviews.
okay, because I've seen they are sort of clearing a lot of land down there, and as someone said, well, I know the woman that lives next door. She said she wrote a disapproving letter and she got very much yelled at by the owner over the weekend, and that she told me he took a sledgehammer to the house. So I don't know. There's some angriness going on there. But anyway, that's all. So it has been approved with
Yes.
keeping partial and demolishing the back.
The ridge was requested to be quite lower than what they were previously, like you all were asking, as well as EHDC. So
Okay, thank you.
Caroline, how does it compare to the house that's going to be across the street?
And that was something that was brought up through the review of 15 Beach's new one, was trying to keep them in line. Nice picture, Rob.
Yeah,
I
did
know.
you just win a horse race, Rob?
Yeah.
So it is in keeping, and that was one of the stipulations that there's a couple of commissioners that really want it low, to keep it with Codfish Park. So I don't remember the exact elevation, but it might have been around 22. Don't quote me though. So that was a long process, definitely for good reasons. It'd have to be.
So that all but 3 feet or whatever of the front is going to be demolished. So that's considered a partial demolition. Yeah, I wonder if that 3 feet is even going to be kept. It'll probably be a replica of that.
Shouldn't be, but
Yeah, well, we'll
Yes.
document it as it goes. It's just another piece of Nantucket and Sconset history that's headed to the dump. Let's do that.
should we, for as far as the Marconi Station, that was something that Mary was working on?
It's Caroline. I'd call the HDC,
Oh, perfect.
the NHA, I'm sorry. And now I need to escalate because I haven't gotten a return. So
Okay.
I'm still doing that. I have, actually I have Rob's photo here.
All right.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna, I'm on it anyway.
Awesome. Thank you, Caroline. I'm just wondering, who besides going right to James?
No, I'll go to Stacy.
Okay, perfect.
You know, it's hard to pin
Yep.
down who's out there doing an inventory of what's in storage. So I'll find out.
Gotcha. Perfect. As far as your advisory board areas, we've already established that you want to match what the master plan says. So this is just something formally I need to get before the HDC. Rob, I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind maybe sending me an email with that formal request based on y'all's approval recently,
Right.
requesting the HDC, so that way I can get it on the agenda. I need to, obviously formally ask the chair what works with their lengthy agendas.
Yeah.
If that's something that they would want to do, and then maybe we can have it as of, it'd be nice to start fresh beginning of the year, if that's something that they're so inclined to do.
Well, I know that's something we're inclined to do, so I'd be happy to do that. And
Thank you.
would I be allowed to come up with a draft and send it to my members individually without breaking the?
Yes, sir. As
Okay.
long as it's individually, we're good.
Okay,
Perfect.
all right, because if everybody can agree, yeah, I will
Yes.
do that. Everybody.
Yes, that's why we kept this back on the agenda when Kadeem was asking me. Really, you all voted on it, but as far as the next steps, I think that would be the best bet, having it come
All
from
right.
you all formally requesting that.
Okay.
The North Gully Road footpath repair, we had a lot of discussion there previously. I know that I have to have a discussion with the head of DPW and possibly the planning director as well on where, what exactly is the town wanting to have versus what civic association is wanting to have, and go from there. But your recommendation is a good start in that direction. So I think we're still pending. I did see an email where the DPW director does want to have a staff conversation. So we'll keep this on the agenda as long as we need to. So that way, if you all want to have a conversation, as well as if I have any updates, I can bring it to you then. And then now, as of the official, I guess, extension of members from the HDC, you wanted to re-elect your officers.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I think that can we do that the next time to see if Mary comes? 'Cause
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we can do that. I
Sure.
will make a note.
I think we can leave it the way it is, or the chair would make a motion to leave it the way it is temporarily until.
That's fine.
I'm just the power hungry type, so you know, as long as I can hold out.
And you all were re-sworn in with the town? Those
Yes,
of you, okay, perfect. That's what we needed. A little more convenient now, doing everything Zoom, I guess. And then
that-
also,
yeah.
I did want to mention, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chair, if there's anything that you all think about during the week that is pertaining to Sconset, or it's about an application that you've seen, or it might be an application that we haven't seen back in a while. Of course, again, you got to remember it's based on whenever that person resubmits for old business. Will you be able to see it again? Hence the one we just saw. Let me know so that way I can have Kadeem put it on the agenda, because obviously, as you are well aware of the open meeting law, we have to have these agendas posted minimum of 48 hours in advance. So when you have a Monday meeting, that means it has to be done by Thursday. So let me know, just shoot me an email if there's something that you all want to have a discussion on. We can put it on the agenda under other business.
Great. And that's you have to post by 10 o'clock on Thursdays.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So Kadeem does a really good job of making sure he'll say, hey, okay, this is what the agenda is looking at based on what we've received for our application so far, based on the date, because you got to contend with all those different things, and making sure it's posted. But if there's something that you all want to talk about, because obviously we need to have it posted really and truly to have a conversation about it, and we want to be on the up and up with open meeting law requirements, just like I said, just send me an email and we can do that.
Okay, well, it's a good thing that open meeting law doesn't apply to marriages, because I was informed without it being advertised that my 29th anniversary is today. So
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
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 Congratulations
So-
to Carol.
absolutely. So I've got to run to town quick. All right.
Yeah.
And give her a bouquet of roses.
Yes.
Comes to mind.
Ah,
Give her that picture with your head.
Yeah, how about a screenshot?
I
here,
haven't
honey.
seen her in a long time.
I know. Yeah.
Tell her I
well,
said hi.
I will do that.
She's not allowed out of the house.
Ha, that's not true. Yep. By the way, this is the background is fellow Tarloff's house. So, and that's the Mitchell House side, Mitchell Street side.
Mitchell Street. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask, I mean, you sent it to us separately, but did everyone get Holly's email about 100 Low Beach Road? And I
Yes.
guess we probably cannot make comments as a group, but we can send our emails to
Yes.
Holly.
Yes, and that extends to anything that might not be on your agenda, that's on the HDC's agenda. That extends to that as well, just so you know. So,
And I'm going to add it. It's well worth looking at what Holly sent us. The HDC's comments about the pool house, which is called an exterior building now or something. It's not a. Anyway, have a look at the minutes.
Yes.
Because they're working on it. The HDC is. All right.
I
Can
said,
I make a motion to approve the minutes? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
no second.
I'll second that. All those in favor, I'll call the roll. Caroline Ellis,
Yes.
Angus,
Aye.
Clement,
Yes.
and Rob agrees. Motion made, seconded, and passed. And now I'll take a motion to adjourn. Anybody?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, thank you very much, Angus. All those in favor? Caroline,
Yes.
Angus,
Aye.
okay, Clement,
Yes.
and Rob is a yay. All right, everybody.
thank you
Thanks,
all. Have a
Rob.
good week.
Thanks, Holly.
Great.
See you soon.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly. Definitely.